You're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says 90% of a deal for securing Gaza ceasefire ready, puts onus on Israel and Hamas to iron out differences on remaining issues. Hunter Biden makes last-minute guilty plea to avoid tax trial months after his gun conviction. U.S. President Joe Biden avoids any remarks. In Georgia, school shooting update. Father of the 14-year-old suspect is charged with 4 counts of felony murder. U.S. President Joe Biden calls for a ban on assault weapons. U.S. bolsters support against gang violence in Haiti, announces humanitarian aid, urges Haiti to organize elections next year. And in sports, Cristiano Ronaldo becomes first man to secure 900 career goals, reaches the milestone in Portugal's UEFA Nations League match against Croatia. An EU climate monitor concludes that the 2024 summer saw the highest global temperatures ever recorded. World experienced the hottest June and August ever, making it the hottest year yet. And on to the details now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Thursday urged both Israel and Hamas to finalize a Gaza truce, standing by U.S. assessments that 90% of a deal was ready. At a press briefing in Haiti, Blinken said that the United States would be offering further ideas in the coming days through mediators of Egypt and Qatar in hopes of sealing an agreement. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in an interview with Fox News on Thursday, denied a U.S. officials' assessment that 90% of a deal was ready, saying it's not close.
It seems to me that it's really incumbent on both parties to get to yes on these remaining issues.
And protests in Tel Aviv gathered for a 5th consecutive night on Thursday, demanding an immediate hostage deal. Protesters set off flares on a road they blocked in Tel Aviv, calling on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do more to bring home the remaining hostages in Gaza. Thousands of demonstrators have taken to the streets since Sunday after the bodies of 6 hostages were recovered from a tunnel in Gaza, where they were apparently killed shortly before its troops reached them. And Hunter Biden, son of U.S. President Joe Biden, pleaded guilty to federal tax charges in a surprise move before the U.S. presidential election. Hunter Biden has pleaded guilty to all 9 charges in his federal tax evasion case, catching federal prosecutors off guard as they prepare to begin his trial on Thursday. Hunter Biden had previously denied allegations that he intentionally avoided paying $1.4 million in income tax from 2016 to 2019. Judge Mark Scars said that in pleading guilty, Biden faced a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison and fines ranging from $500,000 to $1 million. He's due to be sentenced on the 16th of December. Also, U.S. President Joe Biden makes no public statements after his son Hunter pleaded guilty to federal tax charges. President Biden has previously said he would not use his executive power to pardon his son. And Georgia state officials have arrested the father of Appalachia High School shooting suspect in connection with Wednesday's shooting that left 4 people dead. Suspect's father was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder and 8 counts of cruelty to children. The suspect has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder and would be tried as an adult, officials said. Both had been questioned by local officials last year in connection with an online threat to commit a school shooting, but that there was no probable cause for their arrest. Investigators have yet to comment on what may have motivated the first U.S. campus mass shooting since the start of the school year. And U.S. President Joe Biden expressed grief over the school shooting. Biden commended the swift actions of school personnel and first responders and called for urgent legislative action, including a ban on assault weapons and universal background checks.
Got to hold parents accountable if they let their child have access to these guns. Let's enact universal background checks, and then immunity for gun manufacturers. And I realize I'm in a rural area like the rural parts of my state where guns, we all have them. And it's not popular to talk about it, but the truth is there's a difference between rational and irrational. Imagine, the only outfit in the world that we can't sue and by law, passed by law, are gun manufacturers.
Well, as November 5th is coming close, campaign for U.S. elections is witnessing series of commitments and promises by the candidates. Republican U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump vows to turn the United States into the cryptocurrency capital of the world. His Democratic rival promised end to gun violence. Trump on Thursday was speaking in Economic Club of New York. While unveiling his economic vision for post-2024 USA, he tried to assure new age investors. He vowed to make USA capital of crypto and Bitcoin trade. He said he will create an efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government.
And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations.
Well, a day earlier, U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris responded to a Wednesday morning shooting at Appalachian High School in Winder, GA, by saying it is time to end this epidemic of gun violence. While she was campaigning in Northampton and Maryland, she promised end of gun violence once she became the president.
It's outrageous that every day in our country, in the United States of America, that parents have to send their children to school worried about whether or not their child will come home alive. It's senseless. It is, we've got to stop it. And we have to end this epidemic of gun violence in our country once and for all. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way.
Well, amidst international interest growing regarding U.S. presidential elections, a surprise support for Kamala Harris came from a controversial quarter, and Donald Trump is confused whether it is good for him. Speaking in Vladivostok Eastern Economic Forum, it was none other than the Russian President Vladimir Putin who made an open support to Kamala Harris by saying that Trump had put most of the sanctions on Russia when he was the president of the United States. He asked his supporters in the U.S. to vote for Harris. Putin also praised the body language of Kamala Harris, saying that she has an infectious laugh.
As for the favorites, it is not for us to determine that. It is, after all, the choice of the American people. I have already said the favorite, if I may say so, was the acting president, Mr. Biden. But he has withdrawn from the race, but he recommended that all his supporters back Mrs. Harris. So we will do the same. We will support her. She has such an expressive and infectious laugh. It shows she's doing well. I mean, Trump, he's imposed more restrictions and sanctions on Russia than any president has ever imposed before.
Well, however, it did not amuse the Republican candidate and Putin's former counterpart in USA, Donald Trump. Sounding a bit disappointed at the time when every vote counts in America for the presidential neck-to-neck fight, Trump said that he was surprised and he didn't know how to react.
Putin came out today, he endorsed Kamala, and I didn't know, was I supposed to call him up and say, thank you very much, I appreciate it. But he endorsed Kamala. I have a feeling, I don't know. I don't know exactly what to say about that. I don't know if I'm insulted or he did me a favor.
Well, now moving on to Russia-Ukraine conflict updates. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky demanded quick results from his new top team after the biggest government reshuffle since 2022. Zelensky replaced a string of ministers in a shake-up that sources suggested was a bid for his office to exert more control over a host of issues related to the war, with Ukraine facing major challenges on the battlefield in the east. In his nightly video address, Zelensky said he wanted the government to be more active in dealing with Ukraine's Western allies and investors and in helping troops at the front. He called on his new team to deliver more investment into Ukraine's arms sector, advance negotiations on Ukraine's EU membership bid, work to secure Ukraine's financial stability and deliver more support for the front line. And in a significant development in the conflict, Ukraine's top military commander Oleksandr Syrsky revealed in a recent interview that Kyiv's incursion into Russia's southern Kursk region has proven to be a tactical success. He stated that Russian forces have been unable to make any advances in the key Pokrovsk sector for 6 consecutive days. Syrsky's remarks contradict Russian President Vladimir Putin's claim that the incursion had no effect on Moscow's operations. The Ukrainian commander highlighted that the incursion has not only boosted military morale, but also significantly reduced shelling and fighting intensity in eastern Ukraine. This strategic shift has disrupted Russian maneuvers and reinforcements, signaling a potential turning point in the conflict. And Poland has backed away from claims that a drone likely breached its airspace during a Russian attack on Ukraine in August. After 10 days of intense analysis and a fruitless search, military officials now say they believe no such incursion took place on August 26th. The initial radar detection of a possible drone had sparked alarm in the NATO member country, raising concerns over airspace security. General Mieszko Klis, head of the Polish Army's operational command, stated that it's now highly probable no violation occurred. However, he warned that the risk of future airspace breaches remains high as Russian attacks on Ukraine continue. Poland remains vigilant amid growing fears of spillover from the ongoing conflict. And the Biden administration is in urgent talks with Congress to use up $6 billion in military aid for Ukraine before it expires on the 30th of September. The funds are part of $61 billion package passed in April under the Presidential Drawdown Authority, which allows emergency transfers of U.S. defense supplies. However, of the $7.8 billion allocated, only a fraction has been used, leaving $6 billion at risk. With the fiscal year ending soon, officials are pushing to extend the PDA through a continuing resolution, a critical spending bill needed to prevent a government shutdown. Both Democratic and Republican lawmakers, who have backed $175 billion in Ukraine aid since 2022, are emphasizing the need for continued support as the deadline looms. And the British government said on Friday it would provide Ukraine with 650 lightweight multi-role missiles worth £162 million to help protect the country from Russian drones and bombing. The Ministry of Defense said, in keeping with the new government's commitment to speed deliveries of aid to Ukraine, the first batch of missiles announced on Friday were expected to arrive by the end of the year. The new supply of missiles was announced as British Defense Minister John Healey attended the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, an ad hoc coalition of some 50 nations at a U.S. air base in Germany. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called for renewing a United Nations mandate for an international security mission to help Haiti fight armed gangs. Blinken met with Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conilla and the head of its Presidential Council Edgard LeBlanc-Fils during his visit. He also announced a further $45 million in humanitarian aid for Haiti. Blinken said he planned to convene a ministerial meeting at the UN General Assembly this month to encourage more financial contributions as well as to renew the mission's mandate.
The mission itself needs to be renewed, and that's what we're working on right now. But we also want to make sure that we have something that is reliable, that's sustainable, and we'll look at every option to do that. So a peacekeeping operation would be one such option. I think there are others. The United States is also committed to using this foundation of security to support and unlock the potential of the Haitian people. We're the largest contributor of humanitarian assistance to Haiti. That includes an additional $45 million in humanitarian aid that I'm announcing today, bringing the total U.S. aid to over $210 million this year.
Meanwhile, Haiti has expanded its state of emergency to cover the entire nation's territory the day before the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Haitian authorities on the island. Prime Minister Gary Connell on Wednesday expanded a state of emergency to cover the entire nation. Kenyan police officers who are part of a UN-backed security mission began arriving in Haiti in June. The state of emergency was repeatedly renewed and other departments were later added. The U.S. is the largest funder of a UN-backed security mission that Henry requested in 2022 to help fight the gangs and reclaim territory. And still to come, indeed, India News Hour. Ending weeks of political uncertainty, French President Macron named Michel Barnier as France's new Prime Minister. Amid Mpox outbreak, Congo receives the first vaccine to combat the disease. And Telegram founder Durov hits out at French authorities for arresting him.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. Lapak Shukuran, and moving on in a move ending weeks of political uncertainty, French President Emmanuel Macron named Michel Barnier, a veteran politician and former EU Brexit negotiator, as his new Prime Minister on Thursday. Barnier brings a wealth of experience, having led EU negotiations with the UK from 2016 to 2021 and previously holding various positions in French governments and the European Commission. Speaking in the courtyard of the Matignon Prime Minister's residence, Barnier said his tenure will be about addressing as much as he can the challenges, the anger, the suffering, the feeling of abandonment, of injustice running through many of our cities, suburbs and rural areas. At 73, Barnier is the oldest Prime Minister in France's modern political history, taking over from Gabriel Attal, who was the youngest. Barnier said he would listen to all political groups, citing healthcare, security and jobs, as well as reducing the country's excessive debt as priorities. And the police in the Colombian capital, Bogota, cleared some roads on Thursday using tear gas as the protest continued for the fourth day against a rise in diesel prices. Hundreds of trucks have barred roads since Monday around Bogota and other cities in a show of anger against a 20% increase in the price of a gallon of diesel to $2.70. Authorities and analysts warned the strike threatens shortage of food and other goods, causing an increase in prices which would lead to higher than expected inflation. And in Mexico, judiciary workers once again rallied on Thursday against the government's plan to reform the judiciary that would involve electing justices of the federal system by popular vote. Mexico's lower house of Congress approved an overhaul of the country's judicial early on Wednesday that would usher in a new era of elections for all judges. The overwhelming vote of approval by lawmakers paves the way for the constitutional reform to go to the Senate, where debate is expected to begin next Wednesday. The overall is expected to be enacted later in September during the final month of outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador's term in office. And Venezuela's Attorney General Tarek William Saab on Thursday said that the arrest warrant for opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez remains valid. Gonzalez's lawyers, Jose Vicente Haro, met with Saab on to hand in an affidavit outlining why he and Gonzalez believe the opposition leader violated no laws and why the erstwhile candidate did not attend 3 summons to testify about the opposition's vote tally website. Haro assured Saab's comments showed that Gonzalez does not have any constitutional guarantees. Venezuelan law does not allow those over 70 to serve sentences in jails, instead requiring house arrest. And a fugitive former mayor accused of ties to Chinese criminal syndicates and money laundering to the tune of more than $1.8 million arrived in Manila on Friday after being caught by authorities and deported from Indonesia. During a press briefing upon her arrival, Alice Guo said she has received death threats and is asking for help from the authorities. Philippine ministers have urged her to disclose the names of those involved to aid law enforcement in protecting her. Removed from office as mayor of Bamban town in the province of Tarlac, Guo fled the country in July, traveling on her Philippine passport to neighboring Malaysia and Singapore before heading to Indonesia in August. Guo, also known as Chinese national Guo Huaping, is wanted by the Philippine Senate for refusing to appear before a congressional investigation into the alleged criminal ties. And Telegram founder and chief executive Pavel Durov hit out at France for arresting and charging him last month over the publication of extremist and illegal content on the popular messaging app. In a post on Telegram, Durov said it was surprising he was being held responsible for other people's content. He said that using laws from the pre-smartphone era to charge a CEO with crimes committed by third parties on the platform he manages is a misguided approach. He denied accusations from France that Paris had not received responses from Telegram to its request. Durov was charged on several counts of failing to curb extremist and illegal content at Telegram. He was subsequently granted conditional release on a bail of €5 million. And Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer met German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier in Berlin ahead of talks with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Starmer will discuss a landmark economic and defence accord, hoping to use the visit to reset relations with the rest of Europe. Also visiting France on the trip, Starmer said he wants Britain to move beyond the previous Conservative government's fractious relations with European allies. Britain and Germany are looking for ways to increase defence cooperation ahead of the possibility that the United States scales back military support for Ukraine. And the Democratic Republic of Congo received its first shipment of Mpox vaccines to combat the outbreak that has affected the country, that prompted the WHO to declare a global health emergency last month. With a population of around 100 million, the Congo is currently at the center of the outbreak, and health officials are counting on the vaccines to help bring it under control. Mpox has been reported in at least 13 African countries. This vaccine is currently the only one approved for use in Europe and the United States and is only available for adults right now. However, the company is conducting trials to explore its potential use in children over the age of 12. And the United States has secured the release of 135 political prisoners in Nicaragua on humanitarian grounds. The White House said on Thursday that they will go to Guatemala before seeking to lawfully move to the United States or other nations. The U.S. and Guatemala said in a joint statement that the release follows months of negotiations between the U.S. and Nicaragua. Those freed will stay in Guatemala, where they will have the opportunity to lawfully request to go to another country. Last year, more than 200 Nicaraguan political prisoners were freed and flown to the United States. And in weather updates, powerful gales and heavy rain from super typhoon Yagi drenched southern China on Friday, spurring the authorities to the cancellation of flights and schools shut as one of the strongest storms to hit Asia this year, headed for landfall along Hainan's tropical coast. The typhoon has doubled in strength since devastating northern Philippines earlier this week. Yagi is expected to make landfall along China's coast from Wenchang on the island of Hainan to Lezhou in Guangdong province from Friday afternoon. Also, brigades fought flames in northern Peru as fire hotspots spread around the country, stoked by strong winds. In the Ancash region, brigade members struggled to combat a wildfire that had consumed over 40 hectares of a pine forest. The civil defense official said there were 21 wildfires around Peru. Many of them were caused by human action. Fires are partly caused by the slash and burn method to clear land for farming purposes, worsened by the drought. Moreover, an avalanche struck Mount Lopez in Argentina, claiming the life of a foreign tourist and prompting a swift response from local rescue teams. The incident occurred as a group of hikers was traversing the popular mountain near Bariloche, a well-known destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The avalanche swept down suddenly, catching the group off guard. Rescue operations were launched immediately, with teams battling harsh weather conditions and treacherous terrain to reach the site. Meanwhile, Iraqi date farmers are struggling to preserve one of the country's most prized natural treasures, the date palm. Once known as the country of 30 million palm trees, Iraq's ancient date-growing culture had already suffered from upheaval, especially during the 1980-88 war from Iran, before climate change became a major threat. The struggle to revive Iraq's date farming sector is also symbolic of a larger fight to preserve the nation's agricultural legacy, which dates back thousands of years. Despite the challenges, Iraqi farmers remain determined, hoping to protect this iconic symbol of their cultural and economic identity from the growing threat of climate change. And Brazilians living near the Madeira River, a major waterway that runs through the Amazon rainforest, have been watching its water levels drop to historic lows this year as the area is reeling from drought. The country's authorities have warned that all rivers in the Amazon basin are expected to drop below the historic levels. With no rainfall forecast for the region, projections indicate water levels will continue to fall, further worsening the water crisis in the region. Also, the 2024 northern summer saw the highest global temperatures ever recorded, beating last year's record and making this year likely to be the Earth's hottest ever. The data from the Copernicus Climate Change Service followed a season of heat waves around the world that scientists said were intensified by human-driven climate change. The June and August global temperature broke through the level of 1.5 centigrade above the pre-industrial average, a key threshold for limiting the worst effects of climate change. Human-caused greenhouse gas emissions are warming the planet, raising the likelihood and intensity of climate disasters such as droughts, fires and floods. And for more, we have Amit Mukherjee joining us from New Delhi on this. Well, Amit, periods of extreme heat are becoming more common, with it affecting billions of people around the world. And above all, this EU climate monitor declared the year 2024 the hottest ever. What's your take?
Well, the situation is really alarming, Lipaksha, because, in the last 14 months, 13 times the average temperature had exceeded the limit. In fact, the worldwide environmentalist had actually put the figure to be 1.5 degrees Celsius. That should be the average rise in temperature. But we have seen in the last 14 months, this particular level has been broken almost 13 times, which is now having a cascading effect on the entire environment. It's not only the heat which we are observing, which we have observed in the last summer. In fact, temperatures had hit the roof in most parts of the world, and it is also altering the rainfall patterns. Also, it's altering food security issues because a lot of insects are actually are perishing because of this high temperature, as a result of which pollination is not happening, and a lot of crop species are actually being wiped out. Now, again, coming back to the high temperature thing, I mean, there has been a widespread, incidence of, in fact, the incidence of wildfire, the forest fires have risen many a times. Places which have not seen rainfall for many years have been witnessing floods, and also places which have been having a substantial amount of rainfall are now witnessing drought. In fact, some of African countries are facing intense weather conditions, and it is also leading a lot of, it's a huge It's actually $500 billion it's costing the world economy, to overcome these kind of situations. And in fact, even in the last COP28 summit, where the world 200 member nations had actually gathered to discuss the ways to kind of combat this climate change, nothing substantial has come up on the ground,
Right.
although a lot of things were discussed. And going forward, in fact, we are walking on thin ice as of now, and it would be too late to save the environment if we go at this pace. So the green gas emissions need to it has to be curtailed, and we have seen a lot of increased activities by the global north, which are the developed countries. They have been indulging in a lot of industrial activities, again, energy securities by burning fossil fuels, which are actually adding a lot of negative impact to the environment, and it is really an alarming situation. Lipakshi?
Right, Amit, as you rightly said, we are walking on thin ice, and weather-related erratic events from typhoons to wildfires, droughts at some places, floods at others are being seen all over. Climate change at its peak right now. What role does climate change play in the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events?
Well, you see, I mean, a simple thing that is happening, with increased temperature, the ice caps across the world are melting really fast, which is again increasing the sea level, and again threatening people living along the coastal region of the world. Also, because of these high temperatures, the rainfall patterns are changing, which is leading to crop failure, and in fact, overall, that is also leading to a lot of, adaptations require a lot of money, and which is why governments are also spending a lot of money, which actually, if people stick to the prescribed norms, they start respecting the environment, those things can also be kind of curtailed in a big way. As of now, I mean, it is strictly imperative that all these measures which were discussed in the last meeting of those 200 nations in that COP28, those need to be implemented. The deadline is 2030, and unless and until we start implementing right now, in fact, we should have started implementing all these things yesterday. So, I mean, it is going to lead to, in fact, human extinction going down the line, if I'm saying the least, to say the least, in fact. Lipakshi?
Right, Amit, thank you for all those details right now. And moving on, let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Britain's Queen Camilla visited the English National Ballet in London for the first time since she became the patron of earlier this year. The Queen was accompanied by Aaron S. Watkin and watched over several rehearsals. Prince William visited London's Saatchi Gallery to view the Homelessness Reframed exhibition, which showcases artworks exploring the complexities of homelessness across the UK. The exhibit includes works by various artists, including graffiti artist Ed Worley. Western Australia Youth Jazz Orchestra has teamed up with a hip-hop artist to create a genre-blending performance for regional audiences. The show is inspiring a new generation of music fans and has left a lasting mark on the musicians involved. Rock band English Teacher won the Mercury Prize for its debut album, This Could Be Texas, beating the likes of singer-songwriter Charlie XCX and rapper Getz for the British Music Award. Dogs in costumes hit the runway at Sony Hall in New York City for the Impact Catwalk for a Baby fashion show. 21 dogs, along with designers, models and charities, joined the unique fashion show, which is raising funds for the Animal Welfare Organization. Designers dressed dogs in bright, colorful outfits to dazzle up the runway. And still to come, indeed, India News Hour. Home Minister Amit Shah to visit Jammu and Kashmir to launch the BJP's poll campaign and release the party's manifesto. Mumbaikar witnessed the first glimpse of Lal Bagucha Raja ahead of the auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi on the 7th of September. And we'll give you all the weather updates as the IMD issues heavy rainfall alert for several regions in India. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kurana, and a tragic news coming in right now. A fire broke out in a school in central Kenya. Reportedly, 16 students burnt beyond recognition in the fire incident. The fire at Nairi's hillside in the Doordarshan Academy also injured 14 students. We'll bring you more updates as we get on more news from there. And moving on, with an aim to fulfill resolve of making water conservation a national priority, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to address the program marking the launch of Jal Sanchay Jal Bhagidari initiative at Surat in Gujarat through video conferencing on Friday. The initiative seeks to conserve water with strong emphasis on community partnership and ownership, and is driven by a whole of society and whole of government approach. Under this program, approximately 24,800 rainwater harvesting structures across the state are being constructed with community partnership. These recharge structures will be instrumental in enhancing rainwater harvesting and ensuring long-term water sustainability. And India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday presided over the maiden Joint Commanders Conference in Lucknow, in Uttar Pradesh. On the second and final day of the apex-level military leadership meeting, Defence Minister commended the armed forces for their invaluable contribution in safeguarding national interest and advancing the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Referring to global conflicts such as the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Hamas conflict and the current situation in Bangladesh, Singh urged the commanders to analyze these developments, predict future challenges and remain prepared for unexpected situations. And India's Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Jammu and Kashmir on Friday ahead of the assembly elections there. Shah is scheduled to launch the Bharatiya Janata Party's poll campaign and release the party's manifesto during his two-day visit. Prior to his visit, Amit Shah took to X and said, and I quote, "Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing a new era of peace and development under the Modi government. The region has transformed from a terrorist hotspot into a tourist hotspot with an increase in educational and economic activities." The assembly election will be held in the region in 3 phases on September 18th, 25th and on 1st of October 2024, whereas the results will be declared on the 8th of October. And for more on this, we have Shabir Dar joining us from Srinagar. Well, Shabir, ahead of the elections, Amit Shah to launch BJP's poll campaign in Jammu today. What all is lined up and what is the level of excitement in regard to polls there?
Yeah, the excitement is huge. People were eagerly waiting for these elections to happen, and when these are happening, there is a huge enthusiasm both in voters and in the political parties and their leaders. That's why we are seeing the Union Home Minister is himself coming to Jammu and Kashmir today to launch the BJP's campaign for the upcoming assembly elections and also release the BJP's manifesto for these polls. These elections are very crucial for the BJP, given the fact that these elections are happening after a gap of more than 10 years in the state, these UT assembly elections. And BJP is pinning high hopes in these elections because they have been saying that post 2019, when the Article 370 and 35A were scrapped and the Jammu and Kashmir was transformed into a union territory, BJP is claiming that the huge development has led to the peace and prosperity in Jammu and Kashmir, and people are very happy with the administration run by the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir. So there are certain challenges for the BJP this time. Given one challenge is that many party workers and leaders are unhappy with the fact that they have been not been given tickets to fight these elections. And Amit Shah's visit is very important to assuage these concerns of the leaders. He is releasing poll manifesto this evening in Jammu, and tomorrow he is addressing a mega election rally where a lot of people are expected to attend from across the region of Jammu, and Amit Shah is expected to give a message to not only to his party workers and leaders but to the common people of Jammu and Kashmir to tell them that BJP is the party which is going to carry forward the path of progress that Jammu and Kashmir has seen in past many years.
Right. Also, Shabir, what all is expected from the manifesto and what are the issues there which can be seen?
the major issues are of development and employment to the youth, and BJP is very keen to address these issues because youth are demanding jobs. You know, in last year, many years, many recruitments have happened and many jobs were given to the youth. But given the fact that the population of Jammu and Kashmir and the unemployed youth, they demand that some certain packages for the unemployed youth be in the government and in entrepreneurship sector. And besides, the tourism sector and the industry are expected that BJP manifesto will have some certain concrete policies and plans for these sectors to grow. And Jammu and Kashmir being an agrarian place, and agrarian economy plays a key role here. So definitely the manifesto will address and have policies and programs to boost the horticulture and agrarian economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Also, the tourism sector, is expected to get some concrete way forward in the manifesto.
Right, Shabir, thank you so much for giving us all those details. And moving on, a team of the Enforcement Directorate conducted a raid at the residence of the former principal of Kolkata's RG Car MCH, Sandeep Ghosh, on Friday morning. Raids are also underway at the houses of Ghosh's close associates. Earlier in the week, Ghosh was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation in connection with alleged financial irregularities at the medical establishment during his tenure. On Tuesday, Ghosh was sent to 8 days of police custody. And the Indian Meteorological Department has issued heavy rainfall alert for several regions, including Gujarat, Vidarbha, eastern Rajasthan, western Madhya Pradesh. Additionally, the IMD has placed Rajasthan, Punjab, Delhi NCR, Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, western Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand and northeastern India under a yellow alert, predicting heavy rainfall. Parts of the nation capital received light to heavy rains on Friday. According to the IMD, the minimum temperatures was recorded 2.3 notch below normal. The mercury is expected to remain between 33 and 24 degrees Celsius. And heavy rainfall has caused severe flooding in Andhra Pradesh, with roads and houses submerged. The continuous rain triggered by land-based cyclone resulted in heavy precipitation over just 24 hours. This extreme weather was fueled by moisture from the Arabian Sea and heat from the eastern parts of the country. The National Disaster Response Force, along with central forces and local officials, is working to provide relief. And for more, we have Ravi Shankar Murigonga joining us from Guntur, where Ravi, quite a precarious situation right now. What is the current state there right?
Yeah, welcome to AP. And unprecedented flood, which was drowned Vijayawada in the past 4 days. Just Vijayawada people are getting relief from that, and the total administration of AP, it is working on that. The Budamaru regulator, which breached and drowned Vijayawada, it was being planned for further developments also by the central government and state government. In the entire state, if we see 6.7 lakh people were affected by these floods, and in Vijayawada alone, 2.7 lakh people were affected by these drastic floods. This Budamaru canal inflow reached Kolluru also, which was at about 50 kilometers from Vijayawada, and it comes under Eluru district of Andhra Pradesh. In this Eluru district, Mandavalli and Kaikaluru, these two mandals are being affected with the Budamaru released water. And meanwhile, Godavari River also in Andhra Pradesh, its catchment area was fully flooded, and at about 10 lakh cubics were being released from that Godavari River. And for that, people are being evacuated from there, and they are reaching their rehabilitation centers. Meanwhile, this Vijayanagaram district of Andhra Pradesh also, in Kottavalsa, Vijayanagaram district, it was heavy rainfall was recorded, and in the coming 3 days also IMD released alerts that there may be some rains in heavy rains in coastal Andhra Pradesh and moderate rains in Rayalaseema also. And if we see the relief measures, central government is extending their up to the mark relief measures to Andhra Pradesh, especially Central Minister for Rural Development, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he visited Andhra Pradesh yesterday, and along with CM, he reviewed all with the officials, and he has visited all the drowned places of Vijayawada city also.
Right, Ravi, thank you so much for giving us all those details from there. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. In light of recent wolf attacks in Uttar Pradesh's Bahraich, senior officials have intensified control and mitigation measures. Meanwhile, Chief Forest Conservator Renu Singh took stock of the wolf search operation carried out in Bahraich's Harbaksh Purva village. Sector-wise patrols are also being conducted day and night, and sector in charges have been instructed to devise strategies for rescuing the aggressive wolves. PM Modi's dream project, Swachh Bharat mission, is now gaining international praise as a study published in the science journal Nature said that PM Modi's mission has helped avert around 60,000 to 70,000 infant deaths annually between 2011 and 2020 in the country. The study further said that improved water and sanitation conditions may reduce infant mortality, particularly in countries like India. And Mumbai's famous Lord Ganesha's idol from Lal Bagh, also known as Lal Bagh Cha Raja or King of Lal Bagh, revealed its unique first glimpse ahead of the auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. People from all over India will come to see the King of Lal Bagh on the first day of Ganesh Chaturthi that will be celebrated on the 7th of September. And some business news now. In the U.S., the benchmark S&P 500 index and the Dow ended lower in choppy trading on Thursday after a short-lived boost from a string of economic reports faded and investors eyed key jobs data due on Friday. While the Nasdaq finished slightly higher, markets were edgy ahead of the release of the comprehensive non-farm payrolls data, which will likely set the stage for the Federal Reserve to begin cutting rates later this month. The S&P 500 lost 17 points to end at 5,503 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 43 points to stand at 17,128. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 219 points to end at 40,756. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo scored the 900th goal of his illustrious career in Portugal's UEFA Nations League group stage match against Croatia on Thursday. Ronaldo secured the historic goal with a volley from 6 yards off a cross from Nuno Mendes to put Portugal 2-0 up in the 34th minute. Portugal went on to win 2-1. Ronaldo was also the first to break the 800-goal barrier, doing so in late 2021 while in his second stint with Manchester United. The five-time Ballon d'Or winner is 41 goals ahead of his nearest challenger Lionel Messi, who is on 859. Meanwhile, Brazilian legend Pelé is third on the list with 765. And in the US Open, second seed Aryna Sabalenka clinched a spot in a second straight final with a gritty 6-3, 7-6 victory over 13th seed Emma Navarro on Thursday night. The former world number one Sabalenka finished runner-up to Coco Gauff at last year's US Open. Meanwhile, American Navarro was contesting in a first Grand Slam semi-final and pushed the second set into a tie-break from 5-3 down. With the win, 26-year-old Sabalenka becomes the first woman to reach back-to-back US Open finals since Serena Williams did so in 2018-2019. Sabalenka has reached all 4 hard-court Grand Slam finals during the last 2 seasons. Sabalenka will now play Jessica Pegula in Saturday's final after the American rally to defeat Czechia's Karolina Muchova in the second semi-final. And now let's take all the updates from the Paris Paralympics. Well, Kapil Parmar has added the latest medal in India's kitty, becoming the first Indian judoka to win a Paralympic medal with a bronze in the men's 60 kg J1 category. Kapil defeated Brazil's Elilton de Oliveira in the medal clash. Parmar produced a superlative performance, dominating his opponent from start to finish to record a 10-0 win in the bronze medal contest. Kapil hails from Shivar, a small village in Madhya Pradesh, and is the youngest of 4 brothers and a sister. His father is a taxi driver while his sister runs a primary school. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated couple for his bronze. Taking to social media handle X, he wrote, "A very memorable sporting performance and a special medal. Congratulations to couple Parmar as he becomes the first ever Indian to win a medal in judo at the Paralympics. Congrats to him for winning a bronze in the men's 60 kg J1 event at the Paralympics 2024. Best wishes for his endeavours ahead. Cheers for Bharat." Unquote. An Indian para shuttler, Nithya Sri Sivan, who earned a bronze in SH6 category at the Paris Paralympics, said that winning a medal for the country was a proud moment. Nithya talked to DD India's Narayan Singh.
Joining me, Nithya Sri, who won bronze medal in the Paris Paralympics Games in badminton. Nithya, a very warm welcome. You won bronze medal at an event like the Paralympics. How was the experience?
So it was my debut Paralympics, and my event was also taking place for the first time in Paralympic sports. So I am really happy that I have participated and I have won a bronze medal for our country. And yeah, I could have done more better, but still I don't have any regrets that I haven't done anything, because I have given all my best on court on the matches. So I'm really happy and proud to be here.
So you are really happy, definitely, because winning a medal at the events like Paralympics Games, it's not an easy feat, it's a big achievement. Nithya, talking about right now, the support system is there for the athletes, especially the schemes are has been rolled out for the athletes like TOPS and Khelo India for the grassroots level. How you look all the schemes, how these schemes are helping the athletes like you?
So when I want to talk about TOPS or Sai, I want to thank them a lot, because before Paralympics for 2 months we had a camp in Dr. Shakuntala Mishra University, Lucknow, and where we all players had everything that we wanted. We had a good stay over there in the hostel. We had good food. We had courts nearby which is open 24/7 for us. We have gym near to it. We have track, and I cannot say anything which was not there. And so it was really great support from TOPS and Sai for our Paralympic training especially. And apart from that also, we really got good support throughout the cycle of Paralympics, and it's really helpful for athletes like us to take part in all the tournaments, which made us to perform good in Paralympics also.
So this time you won a bronze medal. We know that the kind of talent you are. So next time we can hope that the color of the medal will be changed.
Yeah, because comparing to gold, bronze is a bit dull. So sure, I will change the color of my medal.
So definitely here Nithya is looking motivated, and she is determined to change the color of the medal next time around. And definitely the way she played throughout her event in the Paralympics, we are hoping that in near future she will create more milestones for the country. With camera person Jagmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And now let's look at the medal tally at Paris Paralympics so far. Well, China leads the medal tally with 74 golds, 55 silver medals and 37 bronze medals. It's followed by Great Britain with 36 gold medals, 29 silver and 19 bronze, while United States is at the third position with 27 gold medals, 33 silver and 17 bronze. Meanwhile, India is at the 16th position with 5 golds, 9 silver and 11 bronze medals. And moving on, in the heart of the Venice International Film Festival, a groundbreaking event unfolded. A stage where artificial intelligence met the art of storytelling in a clash of innovation and tradition. Take a look.
The AI film competition pushed the boundaries of what AI technology could achieve in filmmaking. Questions were raised if machines could truly grasp the essence of a compelling story.
we have not seen if those technologies can be used correctly in order to produce, for example, a good story, a good piece of content.
The movie To Dear Me by Giselle Tong emerged victorious. It captures the poignant journey of a young woman as she navigates the complexities of a family life and self-discovery. Judges voted for the movie as it echoed the theme of synthetic stories, human hearts, blending the cold precision of AI with the warmth of human emotion.
I think that AI will present a tremendous opportunity.
Experts believe that the potential of AI in filmmaking is transcending traditional limitations.
Artists have used different tools throughout history. This is just it is a tool that's being used by an artist to create art.
The AI Film Festival faced resistance, met with resistance from purists unready for the tide of change, yet the changing face of technology is slowly but surely gaining wide acceptance.
There are, again, people that will always fight back, as always in any kind of transition, and people will be enthusiasts, but it's like a tsunami. You cannot stop it.
The rise of AI has led to debate on the potential job losses, but experts view it otherwise. They find the technology a powerful tool for artists to harness and explore uncharted creative territories. Hollywood trembled at the thought of AI upending the structure that has survived so far. But the fact of the matter is, AI is here and here to stay. Sujata Lochan's report, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.